Hey, welcome to the second ever episode of Whiskey Wednesday with me, Chad of Chad's Beer Reviews, and
Christina.
So you've probably seen Christina in my beer reviews and Tuesday Night Beer School, and so I'm trying to start up this Whiskey Wednesday thing. I do not consider myself a whiskey connoisseur at all. I don't know if you do.
Not at all. Don't
No.
come for me, please.
Yeah, I mean there is a lot of overlap between whiskey and beer because like whiskey basically just starts out as beer, and then they distill it down to, the essentials to get that ABV way up, because like beer it's like what, 5 to 10% ABV, but with whiskey it can get as high as like 50% actually. One of the beers that we have today, whiskeys that we have today is, so I have in my hand, I have Wild Turkey 101. It is 101 proof. I guess that's where the 101 comes from. And what do you got?
I've got Maker's Mark, which I do recognize the name.
I like the wax on it.
Yeah, I feel like this was, like, growing up, the fancy one.
What's the proof on that? Is that 90?
Um,
You got to double the ABV. So it's 45?
so 90?
Yeah, so 90.
Yeah.
All right, so I don't know. Maybe it's not a fair comparison to do a 90 versus 101.
Yeah.
All right, so
we'll find
which one
out.
do you want to start with?
Maker's Mark.
Okay. All right, so we'll just do it just like as if we were doing beer. So let's give it a whiff. Ooh. Vanilla.
Very vanilla.
A little rubbing alcohol, or like kind of like a hospital kind of thing.
Antiseptic, I
Yeah.
would say, yeah.
It does smell sweet though,
It does.
for a hard liquor.
Mm.
It's definitely. I don't know if it's clearing my sinuses, but it's definitely lighting them up, I guess we could say.
Yeah. There's a word for, like, nail polish remover that's not nail polish remover. Do you know?
Oh, it's a acetate. Yeah.
Kind of getting that in the odor.
Yeah.
Acetate.
All right, let's try the turkey.
Wild turkey.
The wild turkey.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sweeter.
Oddly, which is weird because like this is stronger alcohol.
Sweeter. I'm kind of getting like a caramel smell in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's some kind of almost like a candy kind of thing with this.
Yeah. Brown sugar kind of melted down.
It doesn't seem like they added like some kind of flavoring to it.
Mm-mm.
Like again, I don't know. All I know about whiskey is what I read in this book. So
That's more than I know.
we'll have to take a trip to Kentucky and check out some distilleries.
They do. They have the Bourbon Trail.
Yeah. All right, let's do before we get into tasting, we'll do appearance. So in my left hand is the Maker's Mark, and I would say they're almost identical. They probably are identical.
I had to mark the Maker's Mark just to know, because they are very similar. I mean, I could say the Maker's Mark might be slightly lighter. It's very subtle. It actually, from this
I think it's like,
point of view, it looks identical. So.
Yeah, I think the Maker's Mark is like slight. Yeah, I agree. It's like slightly lighter, but otherwise they're both. I would say brilliant clarity, very clear.
Very clear.
All right, so which one do you want to start with?
Maker's Mark.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
I'd say very similar to the aroma. It's very vanilla,
Yeah.
but it's not. I don't think it's as sweet as it smelled.
No.
Are you getting like a spiciness on it? Or...
Yeah. But I can't tell you what kind of spiciness.
Well, it's just a spice from the alcohol.
But definitely the vanilla's there. Very
Yeah.
prominent in the flavor.
There's a woody character as well.
Mm-hmm.
And like as I'm drinking it, it's definitely kind of clearing the sinuses more.
Yeah, it burns.
Yeah. A little warmth in the throat. Leo, you want whiskey? Leo wants to try some whiskey.
Have some whiskey, dude.
This one I think is very approachable. Like this one, it's even though it's a strong whiskey, 90 proof. Most are like 80. It's not like, ugh, I can't handle that. To me, this is, maybe it's just from drinking like so many bourbon barrel imperial stouts.
Yeah, I can see
It's-
that, but I think this is like the first time I've ever just drank it straight like this. So
Yeah.
it's an experience.
I could throw some. I have these whiskey stones in the freezer.
Ooh, fancy.
That's what you use to cool it down without watering it down.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's move on to the wild turkey. Cheers. Again.
Cheers.
Definitely a different taste.
Whoa. Stronger.
Yeah, it is 101 proof.
It is,
so.
yeah.
It's weird because like this one we said smelled sweeter, but to me it's much drier.
It is extremely dry. I am getting the vanilla on this one.
I get like to me it's not vanilla. It's like
Caramel.
it's almost like rum.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean I think you mentioned brown sugar on the nose.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that's rum is made from sugar.
Right.
So that might account for the rummy character. This one is not as woody or barrel tasting as the Maker's Mark.
Yeah. I get a sweetness on it if I take tiny little sips that I didn't get on the Maker's Mark. So I would say this is a little bit sweeter.
Yeah, this has this has an astringency to it.
Yeah.
That I'm not really getting with the Maker's Mark. Yeah, the Maker's Mark.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's if you go. Even though they smelled and taste the opposite of what they were, because the Maker's Mark smelled more dry, and the wild turkey smelled more sweet, but the flavors are the opposite. The Maker's Mark to me is, I don't know if I'd say much sweeter, but noticeably sweeter.
Yeah. I'd say the Maker's Mark for me goes down a little easier.
You want whiskey, Logan? Oddly enough, to me the Maker's Mark burns more, even though the alcohol is lower on it.
Yeah, it burns really good. I'm taking tiny sips of the Maker's Mark.
Yeah, me too. All right, so if this was beer, we would talk about body and mouthfeel and all that stuff. And to me, they're very similar. I think the Maker's Mark is like slightly thicker. What do you think?
I think they're very similar, actually.
Yeah.
In terms of mouthfeel.
Yeah, I think the higher alcohol would like thin out the body. So to me, the wild turkey is like a little bit thinner than the Maker's Mark. Yeah, we're not doing scores or grades on this other than thumbs up, thumbs down, or
Yeah.
All right, so for the wild turkey, this one to me, I would say this is like, it's okay to good. So thumbs up, thumbs down. I would give this one a thumbs up. What do you think?
Wild turkey, I'm gonna give that one a thumbs down.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it's just too dry, or
too dry, and it's just extremely astringent, like you said,
Yeah.
and it burns.
All right, so for the Maker's Mark, I went first on the wild turkey. You go first on this one.
I think this is a little more drinkable, a little more approachable as a non-whiskey drinker, so this is a thumbs up for me.
Well, it's a non-whiskey connoisseur, You're gonna be a whiskey drinker now if you're in this house. I agree with you. Yeah, I like the Maker's Mark better.
Mm-hmm.
I said the wild turkey was okay to good. To me, the Maker's Mark is probably good to very good, and this one is like a definite thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Maker's Mark would be, because it has sweetness to it. Like this would be really good with like cream soda, or like any kind of Coke or
Yeah, the
something
vanilla.
like
I think that would be amazing with
that.
vanilla
I don't know
soda.
what this would go with, because it's a little drier.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe you need a cream soda to kind of counteract that drying alcohol.
Right. Yeah, maybe that
So-
kind of like balances it out a little bit.
Yeah. So it sounds like we had very similar opinions. So again, we're not whiskey connoisseurs. All we know is what we learned in this book. All right. So thanks to Christina for doing this with me. I'm gonna try to do these like once a month or so. So I guess we'll see you next month for the next Whiskey Wednesday or whenever we get around to it. So, all right. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers.